Tóibín.
It's hard to believe, I suppose, that we're at the 7th austerity budget and that over €30 billion has been taken out of the hands of Irish people and out of Irish families. And just Deputy Matthews tackled a misnomer in his speech with regards the level of debt in the state. And also there was a number of misnomers spouted out really yesterday with regards to the expunging of the promissory note. What we've seen is that translated into a 40-year bond, which would basically put the debt on the generations to come. One of the most significant issues from next year's budgetary figures that I have seen is the fact that €9 billion will be paid on interest of debt, a figure that is higher than the complete education budget for the year, which is absolutely shocking. And in part, that interest is at its height due to the failure of the government to get a deal on the retrospective recapitalisation of bank debt. But on a human level, this budget has angered hundreds of thousands of people throughout the state. It again targets the sick, the old and the vulnerable. And I spoke to a pensioner this morning who rang and said, "Peadar, should I get rid of this phone line and panic button that I have in the house?" And I had to persuade that pensioner to do all in his power to keep that within his house for safety reasons. And outrageously, TDs in Labour will vote for 20,000 families to lose the bereavement grant. Now, in my own constituency, we have Tara Mines, and Tara Mines, many of them, the former workers, are on pensions no more than €10,000 a year. Because of the pension levy, these individuals lost 2.5% of their pensions. Now, the government promised to get rid of this pension levy this year. What did they do? They increased the pension levy, which will have an increase in the loss of these individuals' pensions. And with all the talk in this House of maternal health over the last number of months, we've actually seen that maternity leave is being targeted for a second year in a row, culminating in up to €140 worse off per mother per week. And this doesn't include child benefit reductions. The health situation is a complete disaster. The fact that eligibility for medical cards on over 60s is going to be restricted shows the disdain for this government for the over 70s. €130 million worth of medical cards will be excluded next year, on top of the poor and sick who have been excluded already this year. Now, if you look at the medical or the health system, 8,000 beds have been taken out of the system in the last number of years. 10,000 staff have been taken out of the system over the last number of years, and €3 billion. What's the government's answer this year? To take €666 million out of the service. That will mean that A&Es, like the A&E in Navan, serving the whole of County Meath, will be closed. It will mean that ambulance services that are already 20 to 30 minutes late in responding to cardiac and stroke victims in my region will be later again in the year to come. The government are playing with people's lives in this situation, and it is desperately reckless for the ministers opposite to vote for these measures. Now, a lack of focus on the key ingredient, that of growth, and its consistent overestimation by this government has made the path to recovery even steeper. Emigration is outstripping job creation in this state by 3 to 1. And those who are coming off the register literally find themselves now in an ecosystem of low-wage activation campaigns and random training. At the height of the Celtic Tiger, 4% of the population were unemployed in this state. That level of chronic unemployment is considered to be full employment in the state. Now we have under 14% of people unemployed. That 10% differential, through no fault of their own, have lost their jobs, would take up work if they were allowed, but there is no work available for them. And the youngest of that cohort are having their welfare supports slashed, and in effect being told either get out or get out of the country in total. And that is not the response that's necessary for job creation in this country. So I'd ask the ministers to focus on growth properly in future.
Thank you.